don't know how this is going to look because this is on, I'm filming this using cinematic.
Oh,
and not
cinema.
Just regular video.
The stories and the drama. Yes. Oh, we're rolling.
So, yes. So we might fade in and out.
Okay.
Just so
Okay.
we are aware.
We good?
We're good. We're good.
All right. Hi, I'm not Michael.
And I'm not Scott. Oh, do we reverse it?
And then we are.
But.
Oh, and we are.
Wait.
I don't know.
Hold on.
I caught you off guard.
You did. And we're two fat beaches.
We're not on a beach. But we are PHAT.
I was going to say that's you.
Oh, that is me.
Because you do the.
Oh my God, we're out of practice.
This is what happens when you take time off.
We're out of practice.
That's what happens when you take time off. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So, welcome to today's episode of What's in Your Cup?
This is a mess, and I love it.
This is a whole mess. We're going to have to start over.
We're going to start over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can start over. What about it? Learning curves. Are you going to stop and restart, or?
I'm going to keep this in here because I want everybody to know that we've been talking for 5 minutes and it has not recorded any of our sound.
And
Wow.
this isn't like a feature that you have to turn on. We're both looking directly at the cord that you have to plug into the microphone. And both of us are like, we're good to go. Yes. Oh, God. Okay.
So I guess here we go again. All right, take two.
Take two. Hi. I'm not Michael.
And I'm not Scott. And welcome to Two Fat Beaches.
Where we're not on a beach, but we are PHAT.
There we go.
Yes.
Yes. We did it. We did it.
Yes.
We
See?
did it.
Totally nothing wrong here. Everything's as it should be. We're professionals. So we've been on a little bit of a breaky break. Before we really get into that, Michael, what's in your cup today?
Nope.
Oh my God. We used to be good at this.
We did.
We were mildly tolerated. Okay. So as I was saying, Michael, what's in your cup today?
We're going to talk about just what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks and why we haven't uploaded anything in a week or two. So I'll start off. I had actually spent basically the week before, half the week before Memorial. Was it Memorial, right? One of them holidays. And half the week afterwards in California visiting a few friends, about 10 of us, ended up getting together and going to Yosemite. But first, I went to Oakland and San Francisco, where I got to visit my birthplace, the Presidio of San Francisco. I was born in the military base on 2080. Wait, that doesn't make sense either. I was born a few years ago.
I love how you're saying that about 1980 was actually the 70s.
I almost choked you. Oh, but that's why you got something in your teeth right there.
Wait, do I?
Yes. Anyway, so I went to California, to San Francisco, Presidio, San Francisco, where I was born, and got to see what that is about. And then we went to Yosemite, where there was no drama, with 10 people, a child, and a dog. Yes, your people. There was no drama. None whatsoever.
It's actually like it sounds like an actual like relaxing vacation.
It was. It was. Did we encounter racism? Maybe. I'll tell you the story. So, as we were driving in, I myself being a black person, and there was one other person of color who was with us, who was driving. So keep in mind, this is the front passenger and the back seats.
In case you don't know how cars work.
Just in case. Well, I want to make sure to set it up so you know, looking at when I say I had to roll down my window. So we're driving in, and apparently we were going a little bit faster, 40 something in a 15 mile per hour, just a tiny bit fast. Okay. And so the state trooper pulled up and pulled us over, and as he got out, he walked around this side, and the driver had his window down, the passenger had his window down, and as the trooper was coming by, he tells the thing, tell them to roll down their window too. And of course, I'm sitting here at this window. So I roll it down, and I'm just, are we hooking up? What's going on? I don't understand what kind of situation that you're putting me in, but you know, it was what it was. He gave us a warning, told us to slow down, so on and so on. And that's probably about the most dramatic, outside of the locked doors and the journals with the mysterious writing in it, and the cabin place that we were staying in was probably the most dramatic thing that happened. Other than that.
So why did he roll down why did you want you to roll down your window?
What I was informed, because at first I was all like, oh, hell no, because I'm black, you want me to roll down my window? You know, but it was, from what I was told, our windows were tinted, and he wanted to be able to see completely within the car. And that's why he had me roll down my window.
So I'd like to teach the police of whatever state this was in. California? California. When you roll down the front window, you can see in the back seat. Just something to think about.
But alas,
and also, journal with mysterious writing.
Okay, so we got there and we were trying to look around the house, and we noted that there was a locked door that said owner, and we couldn't get into it. And there was a couple cabinets throughout the house that was locked and owner, and nobody could get into it. So naturally, we were like, "What's going on? What's
I've seen Cabin in the Woods. I mean, not since everything came out, but."
So there is a book that they had on the table. Basically, anybody that stays there, write wonderful things in about your experience, anything that you see later on, that they can make some changes to, so on and so on. So of course, there was writing there talking about whatever was in the basement got out. We found the keys, don't go in the basement. Just things of that nature. Then we started looking at the books on the wall, and there was all kinds of stuff about the omens and Damians and satanic stuff. Yeah, it was.
Did you find this when you got there?
Yes.
You stayed there?
I did.
You should have gone into those caves at night.
No. So, so of course that was the big whole theme that was going on, and just kept finding little stuff like that. And then we started talking about one of the parents there brought their son, and we were going the whole omen route. But like if we see him talking to, because he found a little torso-sized door in the bathroom, and we were like, if he starts talking to anything inside that door, I'm gone. We're gone, because I don't survive. I won't survive. Then we went walking, and outside. So when the driveway leading out to the street, you look over, and a bunch of trees were down, but there were stones in random spots that were like stacked up. No explanation, no nothing. So now we're entering Blair Witch Project territory.
Yeah.
And I said, if I see one thing hanging from a tree, I'm going to the Holiday Inn down the street, because I'm not doing all of this. When y'all done, y'all can come pick me up and we can go, but I'm not trying to do all of this. It was so despite the fact of making it seem like a very haunted thing, which I still think it is, but you know, it's just me. It was relatively just uneventful as far as like no drama. I can't be like, oh, well, somebody cussed out somebody, and oh my gosh, and they broke up, and oh my gosh, they got drunk and fell off the balcony into the lake. There was none of that. None of it. Everybody was wonderful and
good.
Peaceful.
I'm glad that you had a nice, like, peaceful, minus the spooky shit week.
I needed the drama.
Well, I also didn't have any drama that week, so.
Oh, what did you do?
What did I do? Well, let's see. So what's been up for me? We have to talk. I have feelings. Real World Homecoming just ended. And I understand that people laugh at me for liking this. They're like, this is absurd. I don't understand it. And aside from the fact that the show was entertaining, which it was because of the people, I finally got why the show was so everything to me. Because, like, just spoiler, of the 8 episodes, at least 4 of them, just me on the couch in hysterics. Just hysterically crying. And I really, certainly with the one with Danny, where they talk about, like, the Don't Ask, Don't Tell stuff, and how kind of going on the show, frankly, in a way, kind of ruined his life because he was he was the face of that movement and was like, I was a kid and didn't know what it even was. Minus the fact that the person he was with was in the military, and so they had to blur his face. Like, minus that, so that, super emotional. Then I got it. I figured out why it mattered. And it was the nostalgia of it. Because that was high school. And I, did not have a pleasant high school experience. I don't know if that's surprising to you, being in a Catholic school in conservative-ass Indiana. Wasn't a fun trip. At least the first 3.5 years. And so, in high school, didn't have many friends, really, until that point. The guys were all super mean. Because I was really gay. The girls were all kind of first few years the girls were a little snotty, and I certainly had like 2 or 3 people that were like, oh, that's like the friends I have. But then it was because back when those shows came out, like back when the Real World, like the first 10 or so seasons, when it was slightly more documentary, slightly less reality TV, because reality TV didn't exist yet.
Right.
Like, those were the people I knew. You know what I mean? It was like, it was very parasocial relationships, which I'm so into right now, like reading all about. But I think it was that, and it was like going back, it was the same parts, like going back to a time before we knew the world was shit, and before lots of bad stuff happened. But also, like, seeing that I will never understand the experience of doing a show like that. I used to want to. Tried to get on one that wasn't Real World. Got pretty far. Thank God I didn't. Because, if the Homecoming seasons have taught us anything, 20 years later, people still talk about the same shit.
Right.
Like, and I would hate to be reminded of, like, me at 18. Like, oh. Could you imagine if somebody was like, oh, so your 18-year-old boyfriend, whatever happened to him? Did you hook up with this other person? Do you still get drunk and pee off of the cliffs or whatever? Or whatever you do at 18?
First of all, yes, but that's not what we're here for. I don't pee off of stuff.
No. Well, no. I did once. It was a camping trip. There was nowhere to go.
But I get the whole nostalgia.
Yeah, it was very nostalgic, and it was very much like, they made it. Like, some of them made it. And they, yes, they maybe had more opportunities, but that is still a very difficult thing. And I was like, fuck it, if they could make it, I'm complaining about going to work.
Right.
Like, everything's fine. So yeah, I've just been watching TV, vibing, doing planks.
So you talk about nostalgia.
Yeah.
And so for you, watching that show brought you back nostalgia, like lots
of nostalgia, yeah.
Yes.
It was also stuff that, like, years after the show, one of the cast members, the best cast member, Melissa, used to have a website called princessmelissa.com. It was a blog. Frequently, it was before blogs were a thing.
Right.
I mean, there was no... what was the one? Pink is the New Blog was kind of the first big one. Or there was no, like, any of those. I mean, blogs didn't exist. And so, like I clearly remember, like, Johnny and I, like, that was, like, appointment reading on Wednesdays when she would upload. Like, we would then call and say, oh my God, did you read Melissa's new blog? And it was, like, not only nostalgia for the show, but then it really was, like, this level of celebrity where they're not really celebrity, but where you follow them for, like, a decade. And then the website just vanished, and there was always the thought of, well, I hope everything's okay. And it was kind of cool to be like, everything was okay.
That's good.
But yes, lots of nostalgia. I mean, that's why I like shows like that, is because that was my youth.
So the reason why I brought up the whole nostalgia thing was, like, you know, you talked about how that was very nostalgic for you, and you were crying and like just having a lot of these moments and emotions going through you. And, like, so for me, my nostalgia is World of Warcraft and just gaming in general. But, like, back in the days when I was like 22, 23, you know, working for KFC, so I had all the time in the world to game.
Yeah.
And then trying to game now, it's just like, wow, I miss the nostalgia of playing in large groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask the audience, and down below, what is your nostalgia?
Yeah.
You know, let us know down below. What is your nostalgia, Mom? What do you watch or play or do that instantly is just like, wow, this is my youth, and now I'm sad that I don't have the same enjoyment as I've had back then, or it just makes you just be like, wow, I miss having this feeling when I'm doing this or watching this. So
yeah, and that was kind of the cool thing with the Homecoming season of Real World, which, if you don't know, it was on Paramount Plus. I highly suggest buying it. I get shit all the time because I don't pay for Paramount Plus without commercials. But anyway, it's on Paramount Plus. And so basically, they take the same people, and 20 years later, they put them ideally in the same house. New Orleans, part of the house was damaged, and then they renovated it after Katrina, and they were like, y'all can't afford us. So it was a different house, which was fine. But it really scratched that nostalgia. And that nostalgia of, like how you said, oh, this isn't the same. There was a little bit of, like, everything is the same. Like, everything could be the same, like, despite how the world around us is so fucked up. That there's like, we can still enjoy something like this.
I'm about to cry. I don't know. I empathize with people who, when they're truly excited and happy about something.
Yeah.
And it, like, despite whether I get it or not, like, it really makes me happy and cry just to see when people just see people get excited about their passions and things that they really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, like, I have no qualms. Like, I understand this is an edited television show. Like, we're not even going to talk, like, we know reality TV isn't real. Like, we're past that argument. But it was everything else that I appreciated about it. And seeing, you know, of the 7 cast members, I was excited to see 5. The other 2, it went basically how I thought it would go. But even that was kind of nostalgic of being like, and also watching shows like that, and then this is very common with Drag Race too, which I know you're not a big fan of, and I don't really watch anymore because the fracking, and some other things. But I did watch, you know, I am semi-watching this the all-winter season. And it is so interesting watching a reality show in the era of social media. Because think about those first 10 Real World seasons. There wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Twitter, there wasn't blogs. I mean, really, the only sort of social media, if we can even call it that, there was message boards. Mm-hmm. Like, you had to go out of your way to find stuff if you wanted to read it. And now, like, not this episode, but 2 episodes ago of Drag Race, I logged onto Twitter. The second post I saw completely spoiled everything. And the third post I saw was just the most hateful thing I'd ever read about someone on the show. And I was just like, I would never. I don't care how much money I could win. I would never do that to myself in the era of social media. Yeah, here we are on YouTube.
Right.
But
you already know people are going to say stuff, but it's
That's
just
fine.
the nature.
Bring
it's the
it.
nature of the biz. Nature of the biz.
For the 7 people who are watching.
Yes. Yes. Well.
But yeah, that's what's in our cup.
But we talked about what's in my cup.
What's
your
in mine? Oh my god, yes.
It was rather creepy.
Well, what's in my cup is that I don't know how to use a straw, apparently. But it's Target Presents Pride Month. Yes! Happy Pride, gays. Happy Pride, LGBTQIAs. And the pluses. We thought certainly we should, let's talk about Pride. Not necessarily the festival here. That was yesterday. As of the time of recording, we'll talk about it. But just in general, how do you feel about Pride Month? Because I know that you don't like going to the festivals and stuff.
So, I enjoy Pride. I enjoyed the idea behind Pride.
Yeah.
Taking some time to celebrate the accomplishments that our community has, how far we've come since, a long time. Because I was getting ready to say the 80s, but we were dealing with stuff since the beginning of time, basically. Well, not even the beginning of time. Well, that's a whole nother story because that involves bringing in Christianity and other religions, and then we don't have time for all of that. But we've dealt with a lot, and then seeing how far we've come and the celebration of that, I do appreciate. However, what I don't appreciate is I feel like we're missing kind of who brought us here. I'm not saying that we need to go out and give praises to all the Latinos and blacks, trans and queer people, and the whole month should be nothing but dedicated to them. But I just need more acknowledgement in the mainstream instead of just cute. Well, everybody knows how Pride is really promoted. What type of people are shown mostly on TVs and in commercials and things like that. Now I will say, this year I have seen a large increase push for people of color and more non-cisgendered MSMs. That's men who sleep with men, for those who don't know. But my work, we call them MSMs, or same gender loving. But anyway, there's less of a push for that and more of trying to be inclusive because of everything that's been going on in the past couple years. And that's great to see. Unfortunately, it's not enough for me. And in some ways I feel this way about Black History Month. Why do I have to wait for Black History Month or Pride to be taught about our history? Why is that not just a continued thing throughout the year? Companies are very quick to put out all of this stuff. Oh, did you know that so-and-so? Well, why wasn't that something that you displayed in July or November? Why is that? Why is it not just something that's just an everyday event? Why do I have to wait until these particular months to feel like, oh, people love me, or oh, I get to learn something new that I didn't know before? And that kind of sometimes just rubs me a little bit the wrong way. So, and in indie, just the fact that we have our indie pride and then we have indie pride of color. That's problematic to me. We talk about unity, we talk about coming together and becoming one, but yet, the math isn't mathing here. So, but I do love Pride Month. I'm just not big on the Pride Parade and some of the festivals that tend to be very one-sided when it comes to who they represent and who they're reaching out to. So. Yeah,
I mean, you can certainly tell that there's people there who have no idea who, like, Marsha P. Johnson is. You know what I mean? Like, there was a shirt that someone had made that was really cool at the festival yesterday. I worked a booth for an organization that I do some volunteering with for 8 hours. Apparently there were lots of people around me, and I was so busy, like, emceeing the booth, I did not see them. Which I actually feel really bad about. But somebody was wearing a shirt, and they stopped at the booth, and it said, like, say their names, and it said, like, Marsha P. Johnson and a bunch of other people's names in kind of from that era of LGBTQIA plus history. And I thought, and I just had that fleeting thought of, like, how many people are going to walk by this person and go, I don't know who that is. Mm-hmm. Or assume that it's in response to another incident or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I will say that, and again, I did not leave my little booth. I was there from 8 to 4. I didn't leave. I talked to about 1,000, probably about 700 people, if I'm being, like, kind of more exact. Which I got a lot out of, just talking, you know, it definitely took me back to, like, the era of early when before I knew you, and before when I was, like, trying to do drag, of, like, yeah, I can lip sync okay, but I can't dance, I can't sing, and at the time, there weren't, like, MCs. Right. But it did take me back to that time of, like, oh, I literally like this, I like bouncing off of people, obviously. I will say the people that walked down our little aisle, I didn't see much diversity. I did see more older people, though, which I thought was kind of nice. Because typically, at least here in our local Pride, well, you said Indianapolis. I guess the cat's out of the bag where we live. Indianapolis. Like, the last few years, like, pre-COVID, it was very... If you were over the age of 25, you were the outlier, in a way. And yesterday, I noticed far more people who were... It was just a broader age range. Tons of kids, which, if I wanted to hang out with kids, I would have had some. But, I mean, even that was fine. Cool, everyone had their little flags, which was great to see the parents with the kids, and then the parents going, this flag that, you know, my daughter's wearing, can you just make sure that I understand what this means as far as their gender? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So that, lovely, chef's kiss. What I don't necessarily kind of like, in addition to all the things that you said, was, on the one hand, I'm very happy that corporations at least acknowledge us. On the other hand, why is it only June? And then it's, I mean, there's those memes of, like, July 1st, what happened, you know, of just everyone burning all the gay stuff that they're selling. And I don't know. It's a tricky concept to kind of talk about,
but I guess that part, that right there is kind of what makes me not want to celebrate, you know, June anymore, because there's no authenticity to it. It feels like, almost, because we're now to the point where people are making fun of corporations, and it's a known thing that corporations only jump in it to sell merchandise and make money. They don't typically, because I'm not going to say all of them, because I know there are a few corporations out there that actually are very supportive, but, you know, for the most part, a lot of them are literally just in it for the money. And then we as the consumers see that they're just in it for the money and still will purchase and buy all of the stuff just so we can have something that's rainbowy, or you know, something that says what year that the Pride is going on. And so that for me is just like, it just takes my experience down.
And honestly, if you go to Target, I mean, let's say their name, if you go to Target and you buy a LGBTQIA themed shirt or bag or whatever, we are not talking about you. We understand that some people that, you know, they are only in proximity to Target. They're beholden to where maybe they have a ride to, you know, things like that. So, you know, I don't want to necessarily make it seem like, well, if you can't buy from X, Y, or Z, then just don't do it at all. Like, do what makes you happy. I certainly have, you know, I have a bag from Target. I was like, oh, that's a cute bag. Like, I'm just going to buy that. Mm-hmm. But
But at the same time, for me, I'm kind of one of those people now where it's like, if you're going to do it, it's going to keep telling them that they can continue to do it and continue to get away with it.
And it is a little bit of like forced fun, which I'm awful at forced fun.
Yeah.
Like I like having fun when I'm ready to have fun. As opposed to like, all right, this month we're all going to go out, we're going to do it, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, we're going to dance at the club, we're going to, you know, drop it like it's lukewarm, like it's 2000 and whatever again.
That's all I can do.
And I'm just kind of like, I don't want to do that in June. It's hot. I sweat. There's lots of people around. Also, we're still kind of in the middle of a COVID surge here in the city. And I'm also like, I talked to 700 people. Like, there is no, like, I have avoided it until now. There is no, I mean, you know what I mean? Oh. So, hey, welcome back. No, I think I'll be fine.
You'll get the results at the end of the video.
But yeah, it's certainly, and you know, I had sort of, you know, I certainly am not going to make the comparisons myself to like Black History Month. But I had wondered if you would feel the same thing, because I could see, like, to me that makes logical sense.
Yeah.
Of we're only going to teach this part of your history, and the thing about history is it's being taught by the people who had the power to write it.
You know, once again, capitalization. Juneteenth, the amount of people, of corporations and businesses that have just been making the most ridiculous decisions to celebrate Juneteenth and then having to recall their products because, you know, they were not informed. And it's just that type of thing that just makes me want to go, why? Why? Can you just let our people, the Black community, the queer community, just let us do our thing.
Right.
Y'all stay out of this. If you want to give us money to fund these things, give me money. But don't try to sell anything. Don't try to promote anything. You know.
Let people not work. Honestly, if you want to do, like, let people not work.
Exactly.
Like, I'm teaching a class this summer. It's online, and the way that the college has it set up is that the weeks are from Monday to Sunday, so everything would be due Sundays. Mm-hmm. However, June 19th is a Sunday, so for me, that week, everything is due Monday.
Right. I
got an email from 2 people saying, "I thank you so much. Like that means a lot. Thank you so much for, you know, for not having us have to do work on this day." And my reply to both of them was, "Your other teachers make you do work that's due that day?" I mean, I get that it's online so you can do it early. That's not the point to me. Right. The point is that I'm going to give you the free time and the space that you don't have to do anything on this day. Right. And then I wondered how many of the other college instructors don't even know what it is. Because I will say, like, up until I was at least 20, when I learned on my own, I mean, we weren't taught that. Mm-mm. You know, you're not taught about Stonewall in school, ever. Because we're not the ones who wrote history.
That falls under CTR now. Or, no, CRT.
You're gonna get me started. I got a whole email on when I teach dual credit, which I'm not allowed to say.
Oh, wow.
Which is why I don't teach dual credit anymore.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. But yeah, the whole thing is, so to sum it up.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. We love Pride.
Yes.
There's just aspects of it that we are no longer at. Oh, wow. I want to just say that, like, I am happy that the youth are able to express themselves in ways that we were either unable to or didn't know about when we were in our youth. Because I tell a lot of people, I've come a long way. When I grew up, everything was black or white, gay, straight or bi, male, female, and that was it. Yeah. And now you have everything that's going on now, and people are able to express themselves. Like, you know, queer men are able to dress in, you know, women's clothing and still, you know, not be considered, and still go by, I'm a cisgender male who just likes to wear a nice floral print with some kitten heels.
Or I like wearing women's jeans because they're actually somewhat form-fitting. And they do what I want them to do. You know? I mean, yesterday, I'm in my 30s, and I wore a pin for genderqueer, and I was like, where was this when I was younger?
You know?
Like, again, in my 30s, and this is the first time that was presented to me as an option.
Exactly. So it's just, there's a lot more, we've come a long way from just us being in the 90s dealing with pride to now the 2020.
Now the 2020s.
Now the 20s. Oh, wow. Now in the 20s. So in a 30-year span, we've come a long way.
I mean, even the Pride here, I remember when it was at the one park, there were 6 booths. I mean, and it's about 10 times as big now. Yeah.
We've certainly come a long way. It's just, we still have, as with everything, we still have ways to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wish the children that is our future, that they will continue to lead the way and show us all the beauty they possess inside. Give you a sense of pride. I don't remember the rest of the words.
I don't know the rest of the song either.
I'm sorry, Whitney. I'm sorry. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us.
But speaking of Pride, we are going to capitalize and So, not today because we're going to watch another movie. Can't wait for you to see that. But we will be watching. Do you want to watch gay shit? Because we're going to. I know at least one thing we're going to watch. We're going to discuss some others. So.
Yes, in the spirit of Pride Month, we will be reviewing. It'll either be movies we haven't seen in a really long time, or maybe a couple new movies. Just some reactions to that. So look for that.
Yeah.
They're going to be sporadic. They're not going to be on a schedule. So it's just as we do them and get them edited, we'll throw them out because we want to try to get as many movies as we can for June out. Before the end of the month, and kind of like how we're going to be doing in October for Halloween, trying to get many movies out as well. So
get your purse, clutch your pearls, make a drink, and enjoy the rest of the month with us, and we will see you later.
Ta-da!